And hello again, and here we are for the next episode about my Kawasaki Z1000A1 project. And here I am on quite a cold morning with the frame jacked up at roughly the correct height it should be when the bike is complete. And that's because today at last I can try to roughly assemble the whole bike, which I've been waiting to do for months and months and months, but I've been waiting to get various parts before I could do that. So now at last I've got my front wheel, I've got a tyre on the front wheel, I think I've got everything else I need, and so let's begin and try and very roughly assemble the complete bike for the first time. Slight pause because I just had a bit of a moment when the whole bike wanted to fall over because it's unbalanced with the front forks in place. So I stopped, I just made this thing up that I already had, drilled 2 holes in it, which is approximately the height of the rear shocks when I get them. So now hopefully with the weight of this now attached to the frame, when I fit the front forks it won't tip up, it should be pretty stable. That's right, so that's the forks in place and the front wheel roughly in place. I've hit a problem because I don't have the correct tool to fasten the spindle in place. I thought I did have, I've got this little adapter tool here, but it doesn't fit, I think it's something like an M14 or M15 Allen head there, I'm not sure, but I'll find out and I'll go and buy one. So at least that's something I can do now. And it's good to know these things before you do the final assembly, because imagine I was now doing the final assembly of this bike and I found out that I didn't have the right tool just to fit the front spindle. So useful information there. So let's carry on. And now it's time for the bodywork. And in fact it's just starting to rain, but I'm not stopping yet. I'm going to carry on until I'm finished. And so now, as you can see, I've got the bodywork in place, which actually I've seen before some time ago, but at least now I can see the whole bike on its wheels at last. But I've still got a few more jobs to do yet, and the first one of those is this. This is the carbon fibre front mudguard stroke fender, which I picked up from Germany last week, and it goes something like that, I guess. Now obviously I don't yet have the correct mounts for it, but that's okay, we can work that out at a later date. But I've also got a carbon fibre cockpit fairing to try out, and that's what's next. Okay, so next I've got this standard Z1000RS headlamp bracket. It's not for the Cafe Racer version, unfortunately, because I just can't find one, so it lacks the bracketry to hold a cockpit fairing in place, but it's something I can use as a starting point and then maybe weld on some mounts to this to mount the cockpit fairing. So let's get it on the bike and then we can go forward. Okay, so I've now fitted that original Z900RS headlamp bracket. It also mounts the original instrumentation too, so all this bit here I can chop off, I don't need it. There's also various guides that I don't really need, chop them off. We'll simplify things a little bit, and then what I'll have to do is fit a standard early Z1 headlamp, which I've got one in the garage there, and then fit the cockpit fairing and try and work out how I can add to this bracket and have some sort of extensions off there in steel, in some kind of steel tubing, that I can mount the cockpit fairing to this thing. Can't do that today, of course, it's quite a lot of work, and we'll do that at a future date. So now let's see if I can drag out my old headlamp and see if it fits on here. First impressions are, these are quite short. I think the original headlamp was some kind of high-tech LED headlamp. They're quite short, so I'm not sure if an old-fashioned Z1 headlamp will fit in here, but we'll soon find out. And so I found this headlamp shell from a Kawasaki Z1, and let's see if it will fit in a Z900RS front bracket. Well, it will fit, that's good, but yeah, there's quite a big gap between the inside of these brackets and the headlamp. It's something like, I would say, about 20 millimeters, so I'll need to make a space on both sides to take up that gap. Right now I don't have the special rubber grommets that mount this thing. You can see it's got a big oval hole here, so I don't yet have a suitable way of holding it in place, but yeah, I think I can take some measurements from that now, and yeah, one thing I've got to do is measure how far forward the front edge of this headlamp is in comparison to the bracket, because that's something I need to know when making the brackets to hold the cockpit fairing in place. And talking about the cockpit fairing, it's time to get it out of its box and see what it looks like on the bike, with or without this old headlamp shell. Oh, and by the way, you may be wondering why I don't just use a standard Z900RS headlamp, because it'll fit straight on this bracket. And the reason is because second hand they cost about £500. I've no idea why it's so expensive. I guess it's a very high-tech LED system inside it or something like that, I don't know, but I ain't paying £500 for a second hand headlamp. But yeah, and here is that cockpit fairing all the way from Japan. I'm not quite sure the correct height of the thing, but let's just see, shall we? It'll go, I guess, something like that. Now I've also got a screen for it, but I've not fitted that yet, there's no point. But yeah, that's kind of the way it will look. So hopefully looks good on the camera. I can't tell from here, but what I will do is I'll take lots of photographs in a minute as I hold this, and that'll give me a good idea as to what the bike will look like with this in place. Right, so what's next then? Well, next, that's pretty much it. I can't really do much else. So now, right, so I think I've gone as far as I can. I still do have some parts not fitted yet, such as the front brakes and various bits and bobs, but there's no point fitting them at the moment because I've got to take the whole bike apart, get it all boxed up and put it away for God knows how long. I would love to carry on working on the bike, but I've just got no room in my garage to do any more bikes. I've also now stood back and looked at the bike and thought, well, do I like it? What do I think of it? And the first impression I got was it's quite a short bike. It seems more compact and chunkier than the bikes on my 1170 and the Mark II. I'm not sure whether it is or not. In fact, what I might do before we finish is I'll roll out the Mark II and so we can do a little comparison side by side. Yeah, I think I might do that in a minute. But I'll take a good long look at this because I'm not going to see it again in this state for a long, long time. It's now late November and I won't be working on this again until probably late spring or so. Right, so I've dragged out the Mark II project and I fitted the bodywork to it, just so we can have a look and compare it with the Z1000A1 project here. And the first impression I get is that the Z1000A1 is a little bit sort of shorter, a bit chunkier. It probably isn't, it just looks that way. It may look a bit different when I get the cockpit fairing on it, but yeah, overall it's quite an interesting comparison. Obviously this is a lot further along. This is pretty much finished now in terms of what I can do, and now I'm just waiting for the engine to be completed, which shouldn't be too long now, and we'll get it on the bike, and then hopefully it's not too much work to get the bike finished. Whereas of course the Z1000A1 here has still got a huge amount of work to do. It's where this was probably a year ago, and you shouldn't underestimate how much work it is, because there's still quite a lot of one-off parts to make for the bike. One thing I haven't talked about yet is the colour scheme of the bike. Now all my bikes apart from one are red, so this bike won't be red, it won't be green, so I'm not quite sure yet what colour scheme I'm going to go for. Might be a very dark blue, metallic blue or black with some interesting graphics. I'm not sure yet, but that's something for way out in the future. So yeah, this has been quite a valuable morning trying to work out how the bike looks, fit everything on the bike. I've learned quite a few things that I wouldn't have learned unless I did this sort of dry build. One of which is that, for example, I can't do up this pinch bolt on the top fork here with this instrument panel in place. It just gets in the way, so that's useful to know. I now know that my old Z headlamp will fit this bracket, although I need to put some spaces between these mounts to make it fit. What else have I learnt? Well, I've learnt I need to get a special tool to do up that front fender. I've also learnt the front spindle. I've also learnt that even though we did all the work for the back end and the swing arm, it's still not quite right. I think now we've got a tyre on there, that could have some effect, or it could just be the powder coating is quite thick and I can't get that last spacer in without chewing up that powder coating. So I need to sort of go back and take the whole thing back to Jeff's workshop, and we'll review what's going on and hopefully get that sorted out in good time. And that's something that's really valuable to do, because otherwise I'll be hitting these problems during the final build, which is no good. I've also learnt that I think anyway, the custom shocks I'm going to get for the bike will have to be around 350 millimeters in length, eyelet to eyelet. On this bike they're about 365 and they're a little bit too long, and what I need to do is make sure that the bike sits level, the frame rails are level with the ground, and to achieve that I think those rear shocks need to be a little bit shorter than on here, so about 350 millimeters. It's still quite long, it's still pretty longer than a standard shock would be on an old Z1, so we should still have no problem with handling and ground clearance, that sort of thing. I'll probably go for Maxton shocks again, the same as on here. I can get them custom made, no problem. Very expensive though, about £1,200, which is Olin's money, but I do actually like them, and they are a local company. I can go over there half an hour away and go and speak to the guys there, and they can sort you out, no problem. Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting morning. I'm actually knackered now because it's quite difficult, quite hard work lifting all these heavy parts around on your own. There was a moment earlier on when I tried to fit the second front fork leg and the whole bike tipped over. Almost had the bike fall on top of me, so that's not ideal. That's why I fitted that big aluminium bar here, just to weigh down the back end by attaching the rear wheel to the frame. So yeah, that's okay. In fact, I'll have to refit it when I start removing parts, otherwise the whole bike will go flying. So I need to take a good look at this bike, because I won't be seeing it in this state for a very long time. I don't have space to leave it as like this in my garage. I've got no space at all, so I've got to take it all to bits, get it all boxed up, and wait until probably next spring. It's now late November, and hopefully by then I'll have at least 2 of these projects completed. One will be gone hopefully, so that'll give me a bit more space, and then of course I can start the final build. That said, in the meantime there's still a lot of work to do. For example, I've got to make the mounts to mount this carbon fibre fender to the upside down forks. I've got to make some quite complicated bracketry to hold the new cockpit fairing in place on this bracket. I have been trying to find the similar bracket to this made for the cafe version of this bike, of a Z1000 RS. can't find one anywhere, and brand new, it's over £1,000 just for a bracket, so I'm not paying for that. I'll modify the one I've got and we'll make it fit. Yeah, so it's been quite an interesting morning. As I say, I'm knackered now. So now, I still can't finish. I've got to now dismantle this bike very carefully, so hopefully nothing goes wrong. Box it all up, put it away until the spring. But as I say, I've still got an awful lot of work to do in the meantime. So yeah, that's it really. We've been quite lucky. It did start to rain a little bit for a while, but the rain has held off for me, so that's good. Yeah, so that's it. So we won't be seeing this bike again for quite a while. There will of course be other episodes where I'm making bracketry for the bike, you know, machine parts up, whatever, going off to Maxton and to spec the rear shocks and so on and so on. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the bike so far, and it's been quite a valuable morning. So anyway, thanks for watching and cheers.